Yo, what's good, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us. JV Wins, Dogon SS. Conscious Approach, we are here once again. Big
You
shouts out to everybody out there celebrating Halloween. If you are into that sort of thing, be safe, have fun, do your thing. I know in my neighborhood, you don't see too much trick or treat activities. So times have definitely changed. But if you out there doing your thing with this Halloween stuff, man, be safe, have fun, enjoy yourself because life is, of course, too short not to. Go ahead and do your boys a big old shout out and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let us know what you think about the commentary in this or any other video as we go ahead and get things kicked off. And we are going to get right into it with comments made by hip hop veteran Nikki D. Now, she was referencing Ice Spice specifically, but she was really talking about female rap as a whole. And needless to say, Nikki D is not pleased with the current trajectory of female rap. So we will go ahead and take a gander at what Miss Nikki D had to say here. This is in reference to a recent show that Ice Spice did, in which Ice Spice dressed as the cartoon character Betty Boop. So Ice Spice, in Ice Spice fashion, was dressed as Betty Boop during a recent live show, and on one of the Instagram posts of that show or of that performance, Nikki D had some things to say about Ice Spice and about female rap in general. So here we go. This says Nikki D blasts Ice Spice for Betty Boop performance, calls this the prostitution era of female rap.
goddamn.
I know, right? Ice Spice is an artist who has skyrocketed to fame very quickly. Overall, this can be difficult for any artist to manage. Of course, you have to work on building a core fan base that will rock with you no matter what. Music fans are fickle, and if you start to show weakness, the ones who aren't hardcore stans will immediately jump ship. However, Ice Spice has done a relatively good job of keeping her fans engaged. Moreover, her recent performance dressed as Betty Boop certainly had people talking. Unfortunately, not everyone saw the performance as a good thing. Nikki D, the first woman ever signed to Def Jam, decided to weigh in on what took place at the Prudential Center. Essentially, she said that this is the prostitution era in women's rap. These were extremely harsh words, although she did not stop there. She noted that Ice Spice raps over her studio vocals, which cannot be considered a real performance. Additionally, she claimed that Ice Spice will likely no longer be famous very soon. Here is a caption of Nikki D's comments. So here is that performance here, real quick. And as you can see, those are the visuals. So, nothing out of the ordinary. That's a nice Spice performance, I would say. Um, I'm not exactly sure why she is constantly pulling the dress down, claiming that the size and the dress that she decided to wear. What are you pulling it down for? But
Yeah, look at all that talent. There's a lot of talent going on up there. Oh wow, yeah, there you go. That's what we all came to see. That's what the crowd didn't give a damn.
right.
If you turn around and start showing her ass.
Right. And then you'll continue to read on Nikki D's criticism specifically was, oh, come to F on. You mean to tell me this is true talent? The female genre of hip hop today is the prostitution era. Fight me. Nikki D wrote, notice the only two X's the crowd reacts. Notice the only two times the crowd reacts during the familiar munch line and when she turns around to show her ass. She's one of the top female rappers out at the moment. Where's her show production, rehearsal? And for God's sake, please stop singing over those studio vocals. It's not a live show at that point. Older artists have frequently hated on the younger generation. So here we go with this age thing, because that's pretty much what it always boils down to. Sometimes it is genuine hate, while in other instances, it is just tough love. So that's pretty much the gist in a nutshell. Sparked an interesting dialogue going back and forth between the merit of what Nikki D had to say, how valid it was. Do you concur with Nikki D that this is the prostitution era of female rap, and that furthermore, and that furthermore, um, she's not even a true artist because she raps over her vocals and all of that good stuff?
Bro, 1000%. Okay, first of all, I saved this reaction for the video. You know, I saw the headline. I knew what she was talking about, but I saved my reaction for this. So when I saw this, and when I genuinely said, "Look at all that talent! Look at what she's doing," and then the crowd goes crazy, and I go, "Look at that! They weren't even saying it." That was my genuine reaction. So then once you read the little part afterwards, I'm like, "Okay, shit." She literally, we thought the same thing when we saw that. That was embarrassing. Like, who is she? What is that? As far as, you know, performing, she's literally just standing there. But when we had talked about the Adolf girl, I had brought up, you know, industry plants and all of that jazz. And this girl here, talentless, obviously. And so who gave us Ice Spice? You know, that's the real question here. So I think for more people, instead of getting upset at Ice Spice because she's just a drone, you know, following commands of labels. So we need to start asking ourselves, you know, when they give us another 6ix9ine, you know, they give us another Ice Spice, another Sexy Red, another Sukihana, you know, all this prostitute rap that she's talking about. You know, when they give us the next one, because they give it to you, you know, they make sure it's on every video on TikTok. They make sure that it's all on Shade Room and Baller Alert. You know, who's paying for this? So you just have to ask yourself. And so my whole thing is that display on stage just encapsulates what modern air quote artists are doing. It's absolutely nothing but showing ass. And her crowd don't even know. I'm pretty sure. Is there more Ice Spice songs? I don't even know what she does outside of being a minstrel show, as you always mention. So, yeah, man, I agree with Nikki D 1000%, bro. Now, on the other hand, how do you feel about this, bro? Do you feel like she went a little overboard by calling this prostitution rap?
Well, I mean, you and I call it vagina rap. So what's the difference, right? Like I definitely call it vagina rap. And what annoys me the most about this conversation is the people who want to come at Nikki D on that age stuff. See, here we go with this ageism conversation with this music again. You only see this with this rap stuff, where if you have a dissenting opinion, it must be because you're old. Like, no, maybe her point is valid. And see, here's the thing about this stuff. We sit on our soapboxes and we talk about how the music has gotten to the point where it is currently, right? Compared to previous times in history or previous generations. And you'll have people who say it was always like that. You know, like for example, the male equivalent of this, which is the guns and the drugs and the jail and the violence, right? You'll have people who will say it was always like that. They was talking about that ignorant stuff before. So why are you getting so mad at it now? You just old and you aged out of it. So stop complaining because it's always been like that. And my response to those individuals is it's not that it wasn't present before. It's that the music did a more proactive job of diversifying what you had available to listen to from an industry standpoint. So it didn't seem as though the content of the music was utterly homogenized. The difference between those previous eras and now is the content is homogenized. When it comes to female rap, it isn't that there weren't vagina rappers in previous eras, because there were. Lil' Kim was a vagina rapper of her day. Foxy Brown, to a certain extent, was a vagina rapper of her day. The difference is you had other female rappers who were being catapulted to the forefront to offset it. So it didn't make it seem as though all of female rap was homogenized. Nowadays, all of female rap sounds the same, which is selling box, being about box, showing off ass, and basically just making yourself available to the highest bidder. So the content of the music is completely homogenized. So it isn't about this generational gap in which people from previous eras can't get it or understand it. And if we don't like it, it therefore must mean that we are stuck in a previous era. It's the point about the music that is being catapulted to the forefront nowadays being homogenized to the point where it seems as though, unless you are a hardcore fan, you are not being given enough alternatives to make it seem as though the music is diverse. So Nikki D is right, and she's right because the music is homogenized. Nowadays, if it's a female rapper, she's rapping about box or what you need to do to get box. Like, am I wrong? Like when I when I listen to when I'm in my car, I got satellite radio. I don't do terrestrial radio. So I listen to Shade 45, Hip Hop Nation, and anytime I listen to some of the shows that come on either of those stations, Who Kid, I often mention Who Kid show on Saturdays because that's the one time out of the week where I look forward to listening to radio because that is one of the few shows that I can listen to during my car rides, and I might hear a song or two that's new music that I like because it's like a DJ show, and so they play a lot of stuff. But 90% of the time, I'm hearing what the labels want to be played. The music that has the most amount of money being pumped behind it. That's the music that gets played the majority of the time. That's what gets pushed to the forefront.
Yep.
And what's getting pushed mostly to the forefront is if it's the male rappers, it's the ignorant drug and gun bars. And if it's the female rappers, it's box rap. It's box rap. Ice Spice is box rap. She hasn't shown an inclination to being diverse in any kind of way. She's rapping about box. Now she'll tell you she's doing it because that's what the people want, which is the Jedi mind trick that the industry will try to fool you into believing that is what the people want. No, y'all are putting the most money behind this because you're trying to make people behave and adhere to a certain kind of behavior. For reasons that we can get into beyond this topic if we wanted to. But the fact of the matter is, that's the majority of what's going on out here. So for me, Nikki D is correct specifically from the standpoint that the content of the music, whether it's female, male, whatever, is largely homogenized, and the delineation between said homogenization is rooted in sex and gender. So the male rap that gets pushed out there is of a certain type, and the female rap that gets pushed out there is of a certain type. I don't think Nikki D is wrong. Her age notwithstanding, she has a valid point. And instead of fighting her on this, perhaps you need to ask yourself why.
Yeah. And to go to your point, dealing with like this been happening stuff, because I be hearing that, that, oh no, man, they been had, gun bars but you gotta think again, who's providing this stuff to you, telling you want this. So let's ask those questions, because yes, before there was gun bars and selling drugs, there was pimps and hustlers and all of that stuff. We didn't ask for that. Who was giving us that? We didn't run any television programs. We didn't run any studios. We didn't have any, to create movies and budgets, and we didn't do that. Oh, well, then of course there were black guys who directed and made their own exploitation videos, but they call it blaxploitation for a reason. They were exploited. And then they were showing all kinds of bottom dweller life and glorifying it. Then you fast forward to more modern times. BET, instead of having shows about college education, how to better yourself, they had TV shows glorifying gangsters. This guy sold this much dope. He had so much dope he could put it in a microwave. And then it was like, I just put it in the microwave. I had so much drugs I couldn't afford to. I just put it in the microwave. And it was like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? You did this many years in jail. They glorify these people. Who's telling us to do this? So then you have the masses who just turn on the television and consume, not knowing that there are people invested in making sure you're staying off course. And so while those programs are airing, people are just watching it, thinking that they're learning history about their community, which is true. It is a form of history. Congratulations. But they're not also showing the other side of the coin of the more positive sides of our history. So you got to ask yourself, this stuff is systemic, if you ask me. And it's not just in our community. I mean, they make sure they're dumbing down everybody. Trust me. But in our community, when it comes to guns, violence, prostitution, salacious sex, they make sure they serve that stuff to us on a silver platter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, I was a young man trying to be the best version of myself that I could be. But then they introduced something called BET Uncut. Well, it was damn near softcore porn. Sorry, Mom, if you're hearing this. Yeah, I woke up. I used to wake myself up. No alarm clock. I'm like, yo, pow. It was amazing. Sometimes I'll wake up like at 3:45 and I damn near missed the whole show. But they put the crazy stuff at the end anyway. So I'm doing all this here, losing my mind. And of course, fast forward, I want to grow up not doing exactly what those guys did in the video, but exploiting women was damn sure on the itinerary. Not respecting women, that wasn't there, even though I respect the people in my close quarters. But what I mean is, in my mind, I wanted hoes. Now, who told me to live like this? I was growing up hearing it from the rap that programmed my generation. And so now, as we mentioned, the whole prostitute rap is doing this to the current generation of women. So look out, fellas, right? Because the ones that are already in the pool are already consuming this jive. But the young men of the future, your so-called wives, I don't know what kind of world you guys are going to live in. I hope you guys the best. Godspeed. So, hey, man. But I'm 1000% behind Nikki D. A veteran had to say it. I'm glad she stepped up and said something. I know they're not going to take heed, but I know that there's women out there that are tired of this too. So I'm glad that she's speaking up and resonating with the sisters out there that also know that this is garbage. So
yeah, correct. She is correct. This is the prostitution era of rap, for female rap. But if we are going to make sure that we're honest with this conversation, this is also the prostitution era of society in general.
boy, it's wild.
So art oftentimes is a microcosm of what's going on with the rest of humanity. And what's going on with the rest of humanity, and we'll get into this a little bit later, is the accepted socialization of sex work and prostitution and things of that nature. So the music is merely a reflection of that. So I'm totally not surprised. It's of course going to get more. We're going to see more and more of this because these artists who are coming through the pipeline, who, as you said, and I would agree, are largely talentless, are nevertheless being groomed to be the prostitution monikers of their day. It is what it is, man. You can get mad at us if you want. And see, the thing about it is, no one, the crowd that's behind the Ice Spices of the world will want to redirect the conversation to try and make it about age. And that's what annoys me the most. See, I'm not even annoyed more. I'm not even annoyed more by Ice Spice and the existence of such content. I'm annoyed by the commentary around the conversation more than the actual thing, because I've already accepted that this stuff is going on. But what I find most annoying is the retort to what I have to say has nothing to do with critiquing the substance of my message, but rather has everything to do with the fact that I must not get it because I'm older. And so what's happening with Nikki D is, you just don't get it because you're older. No, maybe she does get it because she's seen more and she's been around longer. So she's seen the transition take place and she has enough of a perspective to understand that juxtaposition between previous times and what's going on now. And a lot of people don't get that. And it's disappointing that a lot of the vanguards of previous eras will not speak up on that front. They will instead chastise her comments as someone who is merely not getting it because she comes from a previous era. And that to me is probably the most unfortunate part of this, in my opinion. Um, but and you know what's funny? This is the last thing I'll say. You know what's hilarious about Ice Spice?
Mm.
She has actually publicly stated, and I laughed out loud when I read this because I thought she was joking. So I'm waiting for the punchline, but there's no punchline, and I realized, oh my gosh, she's serious. She actually said, I dumbed down my lyrics. She said that. Like she's actually said, I dumb things down. Now, to be fair, she said, I don't consider myself to be a lyricist. Okay, fine. Not that you had to make that clear because no one's going to no, no one's going to confuse that anyway. So you didn't even have to make that clear. But she did anyway, so I'll give her minor credit for that. But she also really said with a straight face that she dumbs her music down. And I'm thinking to myself, for who and for what do you dumb that nonsense down? But hey, man, as you like to say, this is where we are. It is what it is. I most definitely do agree that this is the prostitution era of female rap. I think that they have taken several steps back, and they're doing regular women a disservice. But what it is, we already knew these things, so it's cool to just be able to talk about it anyway when someone with some credibility speaks out on it.
Yeah, 1,000, bro, 1,000.
Yeah, it's crazy. Shouts out to Nikki D and Ice Spice for that matter.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? With your baby boot ass hanging out that dress.
Unbelievable.
She gonna show that ass though.
She gonna do that.
Yeah.
She know the assignment.
Right.
So, at least I don't fault her for she's not trying to fool in nobody. She just up there getting paid. It's just like, okay, I'll just turn around now.
Yeah.
So because nobody really came here to see her face.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, this is hilarious times, man. Honestly, man, if you're not laughing at this stuff at this point, man, come on, don't let them get under your skin, bro. You gotta start laughing it off.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you do gotta laugh at it. You do. You gotta laugh to keep from crying, as they say.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. This is just
one of my favorites too, bro.
Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know who this guy is, his name is Joe Smith. Used to play in the NBA. If you grew up in the 90s, you know who Joe Smith is. He played for several teams. He played for the Bulls. He played for the Kings. He was a productive player throughout his career. Not a great player, but a good player. Good player, I would say for sure. Good player. He was one of those guys where it's like, if you're teetering on championship contention and you sign him in his prime, it's like one of those guys was like, oh, that put us over the top. Mm-hmm. Like Joe, that's the kind of player that Joe Smith was. But Joe Smith has been trending lately because of a video that went viral, recorded by his wife, in which he is voicing his displeasure over the fact that she created an OnlyFans page. He's not happy with the fact that his wife started an OnlyFans. She claims that she started the OnlyFans to supplement income that she is not receiving, which, you can believe that if you want, but this is getting talked about. And Joe Smith is just not happy because his wife started an OnlyFans. Now, for context, Joe Smith's wife is what is this broad's name? Keisha Chavis, Chavis, Chavis. Keisha Chavis. We'll just say Keisha Chavis. And she was also previously an adult film or an adult entertainer, an adult film actress, whatever you want to say.
Well, there you go.
She was a woman in the adult entertainment industry. We'll say that much.
Well, there you go.
And she previously she previously went by the name Yasmin Pendavis or Yasmin Pendavis. That was her industry name. But this is going viral because Joe Smith is just pissed because his wife started OnlyFans and he's not happy about that. He feels as though it sullies their relationship, their marriage, and it sullies his name. So we'll go ahead and play this clip in which they have an exchange, and we'll talk about this very messy situation afterwards.
I can't believe I'm sitting here just finding out you got OnlyFans page. Out of all these years, yo, the disrespect that comes with it, that you couldn't even talk to me before you did it, that's bullshit, yo. That's fucked up, Hughes. I'm telling you, yo, that's fucked up.
Wait, no. Calm, but you're not gonna say fuck me or that's fucked up. It's not fucked up.
You recording me? What the fuck you doing?
Listen, it's not fucked up, and we're going to. Okay, look. So I have an OnlyFans page, and he's mad because he's just now finding out about it.
Of course, I'm mad I'm just finding out about it.
I'm not doing it with anybody but myself, so why should I have to tell you my choice, my body, my fucking choice?
Your partner, you're supposed to come to me and talk to
Joe,
me.
I've been talking to you about mad things. I've been asking for solutions to shit. You're not giving me none, so I created one.
That's no not in my book. That's no
You knew who the fuck I was when you met me.
Before,
I
knew that.
thought that I would never have to go back to anything like this again.
Beforehand,
but
no.
unfortunately, that's not the case
After
right now.
After that, everything's supposed to change.
Everything did change.
No. Obviously, it hasn't.
No, it had to. I had to do something.
You stood out there showing your body. You stood out there doing stuff like this on camera.
You act like that's the only thing that I do. I have mad jobs, but they're not facilitating everything that needs to be done. So I got something extra. OnlyFans be breaking me off. What the fuck?
Come on, Keisha, with that. It don't matter what they breaking you off. It's the disrespect that comes with it.
What disrespect?
You couldn't come and talk to me about it.
Okay, well, we're talking about it now.
Because I had to find out on the fly.
All right, then. But now, okay.
No,
so wait.
I had to find out on the fly.
So now you know.
Yeah, now I know.
Okay. And so? Whatever. I've been doing what I have to do, period. Like, that's bottom line. That's what it is.
What the hell was that? What is going on there? I want to hear your reaction first, honestly. What the hell? What's going on here, man?
First of all, the big revelation throughout that entire clip was when she said, "You knew what I was into before we got married," and he said, "Yeah, I knew back then, but not now." So if I'm gonna be consistent, and I pride myself on being consistent, I'll go ahead and get this right out of the way, right up front, and I will say, Joe, this is your fault.
Yeah, 1,000.
This is your fault. You decided to marry a sex worker. That is your fault. It is difficult for you to look justified in being upset with your wife's decision to become a sex worker when you knew that prior to y'all getting married, she was a sex worker. You already knew this. You married her anyway. That is crow that you need to eat, sir. So this is your fault. Just like in every situation, it's always the man's fault. And I keep trying to tell y'all dudes out here. And see, Joe Smith is an OG, which really disappoints me because I would expect this from guys our age and younger. To see this from a guy who came from a previous era is really disappointing. And it shows you how long-standing the disease of vagina addiction truly is. It goes back eons, apparently. Back to the beginning of time, I guess. Because as they say, sex working is the oldest profession in the world. Therefore, vagina addiction must be one of the most oldest addictions in the world, I guess, if you want to think of it along those lines. So it just disappoints me to see a relative OG be afflicted with vagina addiction. But clearly he is, because only a man who is a slave to vagina knows a chick is a sex worker and puts a ring on her finger anyway. So Joe, this is your fault, just like it is every other dude's fault who finds himself in these situations, getting publicly embarrassed because he decided to date, insert adjective, insert, fill in the blank, Instagram model, gym influencer, waitress, bartender, fitness model, if I didn't say that already, OnlyFans chick, Snapchat chick, whatever the hell, right? Whatever. So I'm gonna get that right out of the way. I think this is Joe Smith's fault. Now, to my more larger societal point, I mentioned this when we talked about Cup 22, because Cup 22 was going through his whole thing. Him and his wife do born work, and he let his wife get piped down by Mr. Black born star Jason Love, and so Adam 22 is getting clowned all over the internet. And my point with this whole thing was, I mean, you can be outraged, and that's fine. It shows your humanity to be outraged by this because it is weird. But what we are seeing in the world, and this is happening at a rapid pace, is we are trying, and I've mentioned this before when we talk about other things like, the conversation around things like body positivity and all of that good stuff. What we are seeing, what we are witnessing in the world is an attempt to completely deconstruct what certain things mean because we just want social anarchy. One of the things that are being deconstructed, one of the things that is actively being deconstructed is the stigma around sex work. So what we are witnessing is an attempt to make sex work nothing different than any other profession. So just like you have people out here going to school for different things, right? So you'll have a person going to school to be an architect, or you have a person who's going to school to be an engineer, a fashion designer. You have a person who's going to school to be a teacher or work in the medical field, to be a nurse, to be a real estate agent. Maybe one day they want to open their own brokerage, or you have people who are going to school to practice law, whether they want to be a public offender or a private attorney. You have people who are learning how to do taxes, people who want to get their CPA certification. So all of these for the longest time have been perceived as legitimate professions. There's no social stigma attached to it. This is just what you do for a living. So what we are witnessing in the world is an attempt by the hyperliberal people, the hyperliberal contingent of Western culture. This is an attempt to deconstruct sex work to make it just as viable and have it perceived as just a normal profession. So when a woman or a man for that matter says, man, I want to go pick up a second job to supplement some income so that we can bring more money into the house, we are getting to the point where you cannot besmirch the idea that that second job is going to be that of sex work. So you're a dude out there, you're married to a woman, and she wants to supplement her income by creating on OnlyFans and entertaining the legions of sad, sorry incel guys out here who actually spend money on this crap. And she's going to become a sex worker. Or, hey, maybe she wants to go all the way and have a partner with her OnlyFans page. So that's you already know that's where the big bucks rank in, is when you actually on there getting buzzed down. So if you're a guy and you're married to a woman, or vice versa, even though this happens mostly more with women than men, but even vice versa, for the sake of fairness with the conversation, you're a woman and you're married to a guy and he wants to supplement income by getting a second job. And they want that second job to be creating OnlyFans or doing adult film work. The idea is you can't look at them in any kind of discerning or judging way, because this is work. It's another job. But
Yeah, right.
no, seriously, I literally, I mean this. I swear to God, I mean this. So instead, you literally have to train your brain. This is what we're coming to in society.
Yeah, I know.
You have to train your brain to perceive sex working as, oh, I'm gonna go and get a job waiting tables, or I'm gonna go get a side job serving drinks at this bar down the street, or I'm gonna go get a job, doing housekeeping at a hotel, or let me go get a second job working a register at a supermarket, stocking shelves, something like this, right? We perceive those to be just supplementary income, second job. We're getting to a point where we are deconstructing sex work to be the same thing. We're making it a level playing field, or at least that's what whoever they are, that's what they want. So her explaining to Joe Smith, hey, I started an OnlyFans to bring in some supplementary income. You knew it. And to reinforce her righteousness in making this decision, she can bring up the fact, hey, you knew I was doing this before we got married. So who are you to judge or have a problem with it now? I'm getting broke off and making all of this money. You need to be thankful that I'm able to make this money doing this sex work. That's where we are with this situation. We are witnessing right before our very eyes a deconstruction of the perception from a social standpoint of sex working. It is just another job. It's just another profession.
Yeah, right.
That's literally what it is. So, like, no, doing accounting on the side, doing real estate on the side. I know people who, they wanted to get a side hustle, so they went and studied and got their real estate license, and they're a realtor, and they do that to supplement income in addition to their regular 9 to 5 or their regular day job. No. Real estate, taxes, accounting, these things no longer suffice. It's a regular job to just go out here and just get buzzed down on the internet, to be a sex worker, to create your OnlyFans account, to post half naked on social media, to become an influencer so that you can get paid to do nothing or get paid to flaunt your body, to fund the thirst machine or the modern day sexual marketplace. It's no different than a regular job. So for a lot of you guys out there, even if you're not in Joe Smith, he has no room to complain because he knew what he was getting himself into. He signed up for this. So like I said in my opening remarks, bro, this is on you. But a lot of y'all dudes out here, y'all think y'all get with these chicks who are honorable and humble and wholesome. And you would never imagine that if your woman decided that she wanted to get a secondary job, that it would be sex working. But don't say anybody didn't warn you. You heard it here first. That is where we are. We are literally thrusted into a society where we have deconstructed sex work to be just another job, just another profession, to be held in the same regard with the same esteem as everything else that we have always looked at as a legitimate profession. And so this is what you get as a result.
Yeah, man. This is all on Joe. Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, I don't know what really, I'm still a little baffled here because my whole thing is, okay, why post this? Because that wasn't alive. So she recorded this and just posted this. One would think for publicity for her page.
Exactly. Yep.
And so here's my thing. So I want to see how this plays out. I got time. And I got time. I'll come back to this video going, yes, nail on the head. But I want to see how long this lasts. I personally don't think he's leaving. And I know every dude on the internet is going to be like, oh, bashing him, especially the red pills. They're going to be, see, this is simping 101. And they're gonna be like, yo, man, they're gonna eat it. They're gonna tear them to shreds. Before I do that, I do have these are my questions here. I want to see how long this lasts. I want, because I don't think this is going to end here. And another thing is, because Joe's money's done. Yeah. Once these guys leave the league, they probably got like 5 years max before they hit some type of wall. And that's generally when these women divorce these guys, by the way. You know, after they left the league for about 2-3 years, whoop, divorce. You know, because lifestyle's over. Now they can get alimony, you know, supplemental income. Basically, they just getting paid to live now just because they were married to a basketball player. So Joe is in this position where I know the money's not coming in no more. She wants to live some type of lifestyle. You know, the avenue is doing sex work. So I don't know if they're in some type of Cuck 22 situation here, you know. Is Joe actually in on this?
Yeah.
Because my whole thing is when he was sitting there, you know, trying his best, you know, Denzel impression, you know, what do you mean? How could you do this? This is disrespectful. And it's like, I mean, I don't get it. I don't. And if you are doing this on purpose, why would you set yourself up to look like such a lame? So that's the part about it that comes off authentic, is a sense of why would you play yourself like that? And one more thing about that strange video, you know, she was drinking some type of beverage at the beginning, and she held it in a particular kind of way for an extended period of time. When I was looking for, you know, things for this thing, you know, I kept seeing that picture of whatever type of drink she was drinking. So again, I got to question these things now because of the world we live in and all these cross promotion thing. And that was good cross promotion for Cheesecake Factory. They've been working pretty damn hard. They even came out with some list that some women came out with, apparently, allegedly. I feel like that was just all restaurant companies just getting spins in social medias. So I really think that a lot of people are playing this weird game where they know that going viral is the shtick, and whatever the thing is the thing. So she know for sure one thing, that this was going to go viral. And now there's going to be more guys clicking on her page because, oh, you just doing it by yourself? We'll wait till you do it with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the game. So that's one angle that I see this as, is what was that really about? Then the other side of it, if this stuff is actually happening the way that we just witnessed it, this is right up there. This is beyond Cuck 22 because this guy thought he saved one. You know, I took you off the pole, girl. I put you in a lavish house and good living. Yeah, Joe, the money's gone. Those checks ain't coming in like they used to. You know what I'm saying? So she got a life to feed, you know, a lifestyle. And, you know, she know how to get it. So, yeah, man, you walk right into that bear trap. I mean, golly, bro. It wasn't even covered with shrubs. You already knew the girl was about that life. So when she chomps your leg, bro, and then posted on the internet for everybody to see and laugh at, what more do you expect? So of course you get disappointed or whatever, but hey, man, once a girl been in the game, she belonged to the game, bro.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reforming that kind of mentality. You know what I'm saying? They would have to be saved on, you know, double, triple saved, repent and baptized again. They got a lot of cleaning up to do, bro.
That would be the holiest of holy water.
Oh, I'm saying, man, that's got to be the fountain of youth or something, whatever, man. Because there's no way, bro, that these mentalities change. Because and listen, because it only takes one time, and when these women know that they got a black card between their legs, and they can just swipe anywhere they want, they just got to put the goodies up for the next person to go, ooh, 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 ooh. And as soon as the goodies are out, you know, she's smelling good or whatever, you know, she just looking to get God. She gonna get God. This is how it's going. And it only takes one time for your heart to be shattered. So, you know, good luck with all of this rest of y'all lives stuff. I mean, honestly, at this point, I'm trying to be the negative person, but this rest of your life loyalty stuff at this rate. Now, we just talked about prostitution rap. All right. But that music has come out, and it had fertile ground to plant in. The streets was ready for that, you know, with the catwalks and all that shame and stuff, as you mentioned. So the streets were ripe for the women to just go, I'll just turn on my live. And they're not just doing it on OnlyFans, they're doing it on every platform, because every platform has a niche where people are watching lives and girls out there making money off dudes just sitting there. I mean, I don't know what's happening, dude. I mean, this is just next level debauchery. So so to Joe, hey man, good luck, bro. Whether this is staged or real, you're in a wild situation, dog. That's just wild stuff. So best of luck to you. One of my favorite ball players, man. Grew up just being a fan of him. Didn't really know why, just liked this game, I guess. And I was like, hey Joe, hey. And to see him out here just getting cucked out like this, whew, man. Yeah, man. Sad
Yeah,
stuff.
because I thought about whether it was real or fake as well.
Mhm.
But to me, whether it's real or fake, to me it exemplifies the the ease with which it appears as though the decision to do sex work is being made more and more.
Yeah.
Um, that much we cannot deny.
Mhm.
And that to me is like a bit frightening. It reminds me of the Chris Rock joke from back in the day where he was talking about the women on the pole, strippers, and he was saying he feels bad about the men who have to pick a wife out of this bunch. And wives are going to have to be chosen out of them at some point. Lest the population cease to exist, is going to have to continue by hook or by crook. But it's just that to me is what it exemplified more than anything else. It's just it's an easy way out. It's a soulless way out. But then again, you don't have to reconcile with how soulless it is when the world is telling you that it's no different than going out and getting a part-time job somewhere. That's literally what the world is telling women in particular when it comes to this OnlyFans stuff. And it's hard to justify, it's hard to kind of convince them that it's not a path to take when they are actually getting rewarded for it. 30, some of these situations, these women are making 10, 20, 30 bands a month doing this stuff. I don't understand it, but hey, I'm not built for that. You will never catch me spending a dime on that. I'm not paying this woman to just watch her be a woman. I find that the mere thought of that to me makes my skin crawl. And the fact that there are so many, the fact that the economy of this thing is so robust, and these women are being paid so handsomely to do this stuff, I find it truly disgusting. Whether Joe is actually a part of this thing and this whole thing is kind of memeish, which is possible, because he did seem rather calm given the circumstances. But to me, there's also the idea that maybe he's cognizant enough to not blow his cool too much while she's recording,
Right. I
because
thought
then
about
he's
that
going to
too.
come off looking like an abuser and all of
Right.
this. And you don't
Right.
want that smoke. You
Right.
don't want none of that smoke. So, the point is, who knows, right?
Right.
But overall, I think that it exemplifies the ease with which the decision to do this stuff is being made, because we have eradicated the social stigma around it. And you're just rewarded both from a judgmental standpoint and from a monetary standpoint to just do sex work. And it is what it is. So that to me is the most frightening part about the whole thing. But Joe's asking for everything that he gets, because even if he's a part of it, you look kind of bad because you're cucking your wife out firsthand. And if you're not a part of it, you're looking bad still because you're being cucked. So either way, to me, he's looking not so great, whether he's a part of it or not. But otherwise, it's just a crazy state of affairs, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. And yeah, again, who knows? But yeah, this just, again, to your point, this just speaks to the fertile grounds that are going on, because you used to have there's still a lot of women with levels of decency to not do this. But then there's more and more women out here that are choosing to do it, because those are women that they was already in the streets.
Yeah.
So it's not a far step for them, honestly. So because they were just neighborhood trapping before this. And then now they can just turn it on global and then actually get paid for it because they love attention. So if it's just turning on a thing and getting attention, you know, bro, I see all kinds of shapes and sizes getting the craziest love, bro. It'd be wild stuff, you know. So yeah, I be, you know, because I be on TikToks now. And I be on there and I be scrolling, and a live will pop up. And it's a wild image. I'm like, let me see what's going on in this room. And for sure, they're gassing her up. You know, from on a scale of 5 to 10, some of these are 4s. And bros are giving them premium gas. So yeah, man. So for the attention, they love the attention. So the women that loved attention, the ones that was already giving it out in middle school and high school, what's the big deal for them? You know, the ones that already aspired to be strippers, what's the big deal? It's not a big deal for them. And so this just speaks to the culture of what's been going on, you know, just with people and their idea of sex, as you mentioned, like that it will get to that point, not because any massive barriers are going to get pushed, because they're already fighting us about it. They're already trying to shame us for trying to shame them for selling their bodies. So once people get tired of the fight, everybody's just gonna go, look, girl, whatever. You
Do whatever
you
you want. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a job.
Yeah.
If you want to call that a job.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly what it is. You brought up a pretty good word. You mentioned decency. When you were like, you know, there's still a good percentage of women out there who have decency, but there's the ones who were already about this life anyway, so they don't really see a difference. But what I'm saying is I think we're pretty much already there where it is perceived as decent to do OnlyFans. So like when you bring up, no, I'm just saying, like when you bring up the word decency, that's my point, that you don't have to worry about having your decency taken from you for doing this, because the idea is it's just as decent to do that as it is to do anything else. You still have your decency because who are they to judge? Judgment free zone. We ain't on that no more. And so, yeah, you still have all of your decency about you, even if you decide to do sex work. Whether you are doing it with others or doing it by yourself, you are nevertheless a sex worker. And it's perceived to be just as decent as any other job, literally. That's what's going on.
This a wild reality, bro.
Yeah.
This is a wild time, man.
Yeah. It is, man. When Future and Drake made that, what they did, what a time to be alive.
Yeah.
Who knew? Because this is quite the wild time to be alive. It's quite nuts. But yeah, to Mr. Joe Smith, in either scenario, you're in a bit of a rough spot there, whether you realize it or not, good sir. Just go get a media job, man. Go work for TNT or ESPN and start making that money so you can get her out of that OnlyFans.
Good
That's
luck,
your
Joe.
best hope. Yeah, that's your best hope, sir. Your best hope.
Start a podcast.
Oh God. Miss Coi Leray, yo. Coi Leray is not ashamed to voice her opinions on the music industry, hip hop in particular. We did a video segment a while back on this channel talking about Coi Leray when she asserted that the music industry is oversaturated. And we had some fun talking about that back then, because, you know, it was ironic hearing her talk about how saturated the music is when, in our eyes, she contributed to that saturation with her own music. But nevertheless, she is back somewhat in the hip hop space of news, because she posed an interesting question to the greater, broader hip hop community, asking what constitutes an icon. So this is actually more of an opinion type deal here, because she's questioning, wondering, what is an icon, because she doesn't really know what the rules anymore, because it's all just sort of a smorgasbord of different things going on with how rapidly changing the music industry is. So interesting comments from her. So we'll go ahead and pose it to the Conscious Approach community here today. This says Coi Leray asks, "What makes an icon today?" Coi Leray has some questions. In an era marked by a rapidly changing music industry, the question of what defines an icon has become more complex than ever. Coi Leray recently took to social media to ask a poignant question: what makes an icon today? Her tweet sparked a thought provoking discussion that delved into the criteria for achieving iconic status in the music world. Coi Leray began her question by acknowledging the past icons who set the bar high with their undeniable influence and talent. She listed previous icons such as Janet Jackson, Beyonce, Rihanna, Sierra, Missy Elliott, and more. However, she pointed out that the standards for icon status have shifted over time, leading her to ask her followers for their insights on the matter. Additionally, the responses poured in, offering a diverse array of perspectives on what it takes to become an icon in today's music industry. One user emphasized the importance of timeless music, suggesting that it's the ability to create music that transcends trends and captivates listeners for generations that truly defines an icon. The shortest answer is timeless music. They wrote, "You won't always know what it is or which song it is, and people are trying to force it these days. Put out your best music, and the listeners will pick what is timeless." So you'll see here, here's some of Coi Leray's tweets here. It says, "Back in the days, it was easy to define an icon. For example, Janet Jackson, Beyonce, Reese, Sierra, Missy, many more. I noticed things change, so I'm asking, what makes an icon today? Streams, likes, numbers?" Another one of her tweets said, "Stage presence, vocals, cadence, fashion, versatility, choreography, effort, bars, lyrics. Does it not matter?" I don't know why she spelled matter like that. "What do y'all want to see?" Or be honest, it doesn't even matter. I don't know why she spells it like that, but it's irking me. It doesn't even matter anymore because it's so much going on in the industry. Viral moments is easier to digest. So, it's an ongoing dialogue about what is iconic these days because no one knows. The music industry is somewhat of a wild, wild west type of environment. But what do you make of Coi Leray's question there? Do you concur that it is confusing to determine what makes an icon these days? Or is there even a such thing as iconic anymore with the way that the music industry works nowadays?
I think it's kind of fair to ask these questions, but this is a very subjective question, because everybody's going to have their definition of what they think iconic is. So her asking and conducting a poll, yeah, you're going to get a different assortment of answers. It's no different than who's the greatest of all time in basketball, and you can just say, okay, not the greatest of all time, whatever. Who's the greatest center of all time? Who's the GOAT center? And then you're still going to have a crazy debate.
Yeah.
And because everybody has their own different criteria. So to ask that question is very vague, but for her to, try to double down and try to, what is it? Streams, likes, what? And, but those people that she named, she wasn't really around to see or feel what iconic energy is. So yeah, she can look at the videos, hear, secondhand accounts, listen to their music, but being in that time frame, when some of those songs drop, it resonated with the people in certain kind of ways. I just know, because I don't use the term icon, but if you want to use, a top tier people in the 90s or whatever, yeah, Missy's up there for sure.
Mhm.
And there were certain songs that Missy came out with mainly due to Timbaland's productions. But there were certain Missy songs that were just, man, I still listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
And what makes those songs good is there's high levels of quality, as we always talk about, high levels of quality and effort and talent that goes into those things. And that's everything the industry is not right now. It's not high quality. There is no effort and there is no more talent. It's just all commercial, Exhibit A, Ice Spice earlier. So there is no buying into it. There's nothing to buy into. There's nothing to want to see more of, hear more of. You know, everybody's looking for the next meme. And so, you know, Coi Leray, she's, you know, she seems to be hungry for it all, you know, but my whole thing is get in the lab, you know, get in the lab and make real songs.
Right.
The little stuff that I did hear from her, girl, you sound like every other disposable thing right now. And for a person that's talking all of this, you know, like you want to be one of the greatest of all time type of things, you know, or consider one of the best of your generation. You're not going to get it talking about your box. So no, this whole thing here, I feel like her placement for asking the question, you know, it doesn't, you know, she also added in, you know, flow, cadence, lyrics, bars, and all that stuff. She added all of that stuff, but you know, that's a no-brainer. You know, so I don't know what you're really trying to get from your people here. And the people said it best: quality music. So get in the lab, make some quality music, and stop adding to the garbage. Because from the little stuff that I did try to hear from her, because I would want to be fans of people. So I came in this with, you know, open ears, and I heard one song talking about box. I said, okay, girl, I don't blame you. You know what I'm saying? This the game. You know what I'm saying? It's the game. So get you a hit. And then I heard some other stuff, and I'm like, nah, you just you know different than anybody else. So yeah, so I don't know, man. I feel like she's adding to the garbage. I don't feel like she would be iconic unless she changes her tune and get more into artistry instead of, you know, trying to go viral. So what about you, man? How do you feel about this? Do you feel like are there any more icons in the game, or what's going on?
Shouts out to Nas. Nas Magic 3, he has a song on there called Icons. Wayne is on there. Now, granted, it ain't the Carter 1 or the Carter 2 Wayne, but it is probably Carter 3, Carter 4 Wayne. So Nas was able to bring Carter 3, Carter 4 Wayne out for a feature. Nas, of course, kills it. And Wayne does his thing, but like I said, it ain't prime Wayne. It's not Carter 1, Carter 2 Wayne. But great song, though. Great song. So shouts out to Nas on that Magic 3. So y'all check out Magic 3 if you have not listened to it. I know it's a rapper who's old. Oh my God. Don't worry, you won't spontaneously combust. Trust me, you won't.
I know.
But if I'm going to attempt to psychoanalyze her, so when we discussed that topic a while back, when she brought up how the oversaturation in the music industry, she was speaking from a place of frustration when she was doing that. It was just weird because you're frustrated with how saturated the music is, then stop making saturated music. But what I get from that is, I'm not saying that this is true. I'm just saying in her mind, she feels as though she can make music that is not saturated, but that's not how you become successful in the industry. So she feels as though she has to placate to the rules of what constitutes success in the industry by making disposable music. I'm trying to get in her head a little bit.
I got it.
Yeah. Like I'm thinking that's what she thinks. And I think that in her heart of hearts, she believes that she's a MC. She believes that she'll get on the mic. I think that's what she thinks in her heart of hearts. I think in her heart of hearts, she thinks that she's like a legit rapper, right? So in her heart of hearts, she probably feels as though she's cut from the Lauryn Hill, Jean Grey, Rhapsody. No. I think in her mind, she feels as though she's cut from that cloth.
I got
and so, but she's in this weird limbo identity crisis mode where she can't truly make the kind of music that she wants to make because she doesn't feel as though it will allow her to be commercially successful, because the rules of modern hip hop have stated loud and clearly that in order to be commercially successful, you have to make disposable music. Even if you have talent, you have to flood the streets with disposable sewage, to use a word that you used once upon a time to describe some of this music. It's what you call
sludge.
You call it sludge. Yeah. Sludge. It's sewage.
Yeah.
That's what I really think she feels.
No.
And so to that end, I would say, well, Miss Leray, make the music you want to make. Stop caring about all this other stuff. Your dad is influential in the music industry. You know what I'm saying? He has pull in some places, resources, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure that has at least something to do with how you've gotten to the point that you are at now anyway. So just make the music that you want to make the music that you want to make. Stop being scared and being so frustrated with the state of the industry. Make what you want to make. If you
Right.
truly are that good, if you truly are that great, then you will be rewarded for being authentic to your craft.
Yes.
You will be. But if you aren't, you won't be. And you'll be exposed for that. And the you know, whatever percentage of the listeners out there who are looking for the real music, they'll see right through that and they'll know you're not authentic with this stuff. And they'll know that you're just another vagina rapper. They'll know that you're just another Lotto. They'll know you're another JT, Young Miami, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion. Who else is all of these vagina rappers out here? Ice, Posh Spice. Who else makes this vagina music? Suki Hana and the rest of these vagina rappers, where every song that you hear them on, they're talking about how they're a bad bitch and how they're always wet all the time, right?
Oh,
That's
man.
what they rap about. So it's like, if you're not really about that life and you're really about that music life, then
Right.
just make what you want to make and stop worrying about this other stuff. It's ridiculous. Like, I'm sick of these people out here crying about stuff and complaining when it is well within their power to shift their paradigm. Therefore, their inability to do so is based solely on the fact that truly in their heart, they don't really want to. I am of the belief that she is making the music she wants to make.
Mm-hmm.
So stop trying to make yourself seem as though that you're this lyricist and you want to make this kind of music, but you can't because the industry doesn't want you to. No, you could if you wanted to.
Exactly.
You just don't want to.
Right.
Period. So once again, I respect the question because it is one that warrants further conversation. If you ask me personally, I am one who leans on longevity, the timeless angle. I don't care too much about, like, even though I am somebody who likes bars and lyrics, I don't necessarily, because there's plenty of timeless songs that aren't just the most lyrically laced in bars and all of that
Correct.
kind of stuff, right? So it ain't just about that. But iconic status does to me involve making music that 10, 20 years from now is still going to get played. That's kind of how I look at it. And when I go out, it's crazy to me too, because we have all these conversations about this music stuff and the fissure between generations and how that's a point of contention when it comes to how we evaluate the music. But one thing that I do see whenever I go out somewhere and music is being played, I hear more music from previous eras than the current. That's just what I hear. Whenever there's live music and there's DJs and they playing music, it's probably 70-30 split. 70% is older music from previous generations, previous eras. 30% is current music, which tells me that the more quality stuff was being made before and the more disposable garbage is being made today. The people will always speak. The DJs are going to play what moves the crowd the most. And what moves the crowd the most, 70% of the time, is music from previous eras. And those aren't the most lyrical in content, but they are in terms of the way that you approach making music, the way that you approach making a song, the chorus, the production value, what you're actually saying in the song, how it actually gets the people to respond. There's an aspect of that has become lost when you talk about today's music, in my opinion. And maybe I'm subjective because I come from a previous time, whatever. But what's not subjective is what I witness when I look at what's being played when I'm in public venues. And what gets played in public venues is 70% of the time music from previous eras. And look, we can argue this all day. I'm going to go out on a limb and say 10, 15 years from now, if you go out and you're listening to music being played, Ice Spice ain't gonna be on that playlist.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say 15 to 20 years from now, okay, a DJ is more likely to play "It's All About You" by Tupac than whatever Ice Spice's most popular song is. Still, as weird as this new human world is, I am still gonna go out on a limb and say timeless music speaks for itself, and that to me, if you ask me my opinion, is what defines icon and iconic status. It's why she named all of those previous artists. She can't name any of her contemporaries. None of these people are going to be getting heavy spins 15 years from now. I don't think, because their stuff is microwavable. It's here 1 minute, gone the next. I don't know what's the last popular Lil Baby song. I don't even know the current one. I know his first song, that "Drip Too Hard, Don't Stand Too Close." I know that song because that was his first one. It made a big splash. Since then, what gets played with him that hits like that? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. That's kind of my take on it. I feel like this is a continuation of her trying to kind of come to grips with where she fits within the ecosystem of the music industry. I think she's still trying to discover that, but I also think that she knows the kind of music that she wants to make. And she's not going to fit a square peg into a round hole. So if you're out here making disposable music, it's because you want to, not because the industry is making you. And so long as you're making the disposable stuff, no one's going to recognize you as an icon.
Yeah, and I would just say that if she did sign to some major label, then you should have known that the industry is going to make you do something you didn't want to do in the first place. So, and that's another thing too. It's like, how big do you want to be? Apparently, Beyonce big, Rihanna big, like she wants to be that big. I don't, you're already. And my thing is with these people, at least in these situations, you're already big. If I know who you are, because I don't know nobody.
Yeah.
If I know who you are, you're known. Be happy with that. And you're young, so build from the bottom and just make authentic music. So if you are under label control, there's ways of releasing music, to the people of your genuine projects while you give you turn in your term paper with all these whatever, but you can release your journal of your own novels, but for your research paper over here, major labels and all this stuff they want you to do. All right, we'll give you that commercial stuff over here. But all my real artists know what I really do. You can do it like that. Mm-hmm. And then there's so many artists right now that many people don't even know the name of that have cult followings just because they release authentic music to, the people, and that person just don't break stride. They just stay authentic. And if they evolve into a new version of themselves, it's still an authentic, like, just do that. Just play that lane. If you want to be Beyonce, Rihanna big and all that stuff, those women did some stuff to get there. You're not just going to get spins just for being whatever. You're going to have to, there was a lot of things going on. So, either play ball or be humble and be happy with the people that follow you now and just build from the ground up and have a real grassroots thing. Instead of this, like, as you say, disposable stuff. And I'll say this is my last point with the music. As you mentioned, like, the reason why I say I don't know the Ice Spice is because what's going to happen in the future is nobody's going to know the names of these artists for some of these songs. And there's just going to be ones, like, boom, one after another, one hit after another, one hit wonder after the next. It's just going to be a salad of stuff. There's no real artist in none of it. So it's just like Amazon. It's just arbitrage, and they just it's just going to be one after the next of just useless thing after useless song. And I think that's how they're going to be playing club music, of course, with all the classics, because those are the staples. I mean, we still listen to, we used to do early vibe when we was in the club, and so the early vibe was playing all the old jams, and so there'll be an early vibe, I'm sure. Where the classics will get played, but nah, man, they gonna want that thought rap they grew up with.
Yeah.
And so that's gonna be they booty hole brown ass looking ass. So yeah, they're gonna lose their mind. That's gonna be what's that Drop It Like It's Hot or whatever for
Mhm.
us. What was that song with Juvenile in them? Sound like an
Back
old
that
man.
ass up.
Yeah, back that ass up.
Yeah.
You know, so it's gonna be that kind of stuff. That's gonna be their version of it. And so as soon as Booty Hole Brown come on, they all gonna start. They're gonna start going, hitting the dance floor and start clapping.
Yeah.
So hey man, it is what it is, man. But yeah, if she is signed to a major label, I could see the angle of her being, you know, marginalized. But at the same time, bro, I don't really think that she's in her artistry bag enough, because we still would have heard some art through the stuff, because real artists still will try their best to put some real art in the midst of the garbage that they have to sell us. So yeah, good luck, Miss Leray. But I hope you get good. You know, she seems to be wanting to be hungry, but hopefully she gets there, but not right now.
Yeah, I mean, she speaks on this, and she is at least more conscientious than some of these other chicks out here. Because they're just they're complete and utter zombies out here. But yeah, I just kind of think that she's making the music that she wants to make. I do believe that. I don't really think that she's suffering from any sort of struggle, and she's being hampered from doing what she wants to do. I think she makes what she wants to make. I think she just wants to be bigger than she is. And so because she is not where she wants to be yet, she's prone to complaining about that. And she'll use the music industry as an excuse as to why that is, when really it might just not be her time yet. But I will say though, you know, just because I've heard a few of her songs, talent wise, if we just talking strictly about like rapping, you know, from what I've heard, she's better than most of these female rappers who rap about stuff. Now, whether these chicks actually consider themselves to be rappers is another story, right? Because like Ice Spice, like I said before, Ice Spice recently made comments about how she doesn't consider herself to be a lyricist or lyrical. So maybe she doesn't even really look at herself as a rapper per se. But in terms of making these kinds of songs, hip hop songs, where you put lyrics over a beat, she's got more talent in her than most of these current female rappers. But it kind of gets lost in the shuffle because largely her content sounds the same. So it is what it is. Hopefully she figures it out. But yeah, I do think she's doing what she wants.
Good luck, Miss Leray.
Yeah. All right. So Keith Lee recently went viral because of his critiques of the Atlanta restaurant scene. That's pretty much a good way to say it, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So Keith Lee is huge. He has 12 million followers on TikTok, something like that. He's just very big on in the social media space, particularly on TikTok, because he goes around to different places and he takes in the dining experience in those respective places, and then he sort of gives his review on them. And he recently gave his thoughts on that experience eating in Atlanta. And so it's, sparked a lot of conversation. A lot of people are talking about it. And so let's see if I can find this clip here. So this is just a brief excerpt from, reporting on Keith Lee's recent critique of his experience dining in Atlanta.
Service was interesting. While the people were nice, the rules they had set were very unique to me. We initially tried to do takeout, but when we came in, they said we couldn't sit down, and there was no space at the bar for us to stand. So we had to stand outside to order our food, and then we decided we just gonna dine in. But 2 people in our party stepped out for a second, because again, we fresh off the plane, so everybody's trying to get situated. The waitress, again, she was nice, but she told us she couldn't take any orders, or she couldn't do anything until everybody sat down. No water, no coffee, no drink orders, no nothing.
Popular TikToker Keith Lee causing a lot of conversation on social media about Atlanta's food scene after he visited a couple of different restaurants over the weekend. Lee, who has more than 14 million followers, is known for his honest reviews and also for his good deeds. He talked about how some of the rules at Atlanta's establishments made it hard for him to even get food to review. So now people all over social media, they have responded about how they have also had some similar issues in the A at some of these popular spots, right? Some restaurants did get high marks from Keith Lee, and as a result, they are seeing what's called the Keith Lee effect with a lot of customers. He talked about his positive experiences at the Juicy Jerk in Stone Mountain, the dining experience in Fairburn, and also the Bodega in College Park.
All right, and so there are also follow-ups to that video as well, where it showed the impact on some of those restaurants. They show the impact of his presence at some of those restaurants where he gave a good review, and how those places have lines wrapped around the building. So it goes both ways, right? So the negative critiques can work against you. The positive critiques can certainly work in your favor, but it certainly caused a bit of an ongoing conversation with respect to restaurant quality, food, service, and all of that sorts of and all of those types of ideas, specifically with respect to what it's like to do that in Atlanta. But yeah, this got social media ablaze talking about eating in Atlanta and just the restaurant dining experience in general. But what did you think about this situation?
Yeah, man, I've never even heard of bro until like 3 days ago or 4 days ago. So I'm like, what the hell is this? And it was every other video. I mean, it was just giving it to me. So it was just like, hey man, more Keith Lee, more Keith Lee. I was like, I guess. I guess. And so I'm looking at this stuff, and one of the first restaurants he went to, yeah, he had a bad experience. He had a bad experience. And so, and the thing is that these are a lot of black-owned restaurants, so he went there trying to do his thing. And from what I recognize from him, he does seem to be authentic with his reviews. Not everything's amazing, so he actually critiques it with good descriptions of the words that you understand. So he describes it pretty good, and you go, yeah, I can dig that texture. Yeah, a good description. He does that stuff. And nowadays people just love watching people eat. I don't know what that's all about. But so he's doing a lot of things right now. And so yeah, his effect goes both ways, man. And he can, by calling you out, because the whole thing is he just goes in there incognito. He have his people order the stuff. So while they ordering it, they don't know it's for him, because if they know it's for him, they're gonna bring their best. So he just try to catch them on their normal. And if that's you slipping, that's on you. And you're gonna catch that review. And the thing is, when he went to Atlanta, is apparently there's so many rules and all this other stuff that goes on with these restaurants. And he got caught in some of those whirlwinds, and he walked away with no food. And the whole thing is, hey, bro, if bro walked away with no food, y'all messed up. And if he say, hey, man, I tried it, I liked it, and then everybody's gonna go, for his stuff. So he's very powerful. The streets are behind him 100 million% at this point, man. So yeah, there's detractors out there, but honestly, I just think that those are people that's really tied to the service industry and feel like what he's doing is too volatile for people who are putting their whole lives on the line, kind of thing, with these places. But I'll tell you right now, and I'll let you go. The elitist air in Atlanta is a real thing. There's a real status competition going on out there. It's kind of like extended high school. It's like a whole city's a high school, trying to be popular, trying to be on. Yeah, I own this, on that stuff, treating it like housewives and, real husbands of whatever. Like, these people they really trying to be Hollywood out there. And so with that, it comes with these, weird types of status situations, holding lines for no reason, stuff like that. And, one of his big gripes is, hey man, you making other people wait, but as soon as y'all hear it's me, y'all got a table magically. So that's automatic. He's not getting your food. And so if you do the whole, hey, status over common person, people got to wait for an hour and a half to get their food, it's trash, especially when black people are really trying to support each other. Because you go to any other establishment, you're in and out and whatever. And if it is a wait, it's an understandable wait, So hopefully these restaurants get their act together. I'm here for it. I enjoy it. I'm all about having accountability in the community, and he's an agent of instilling that accountability, at least in the restaurant department. So I'm digging what he's doing, and I've seen the effect, the positive side, and yeah, those people are eating, no pun intended. So how about you, man? How do you feel about this whole situation, man? It's a lot of layers to it, but how do you feel about the Keith Lee in Atlanta?
Does he only go to black-owned businesses?
I got to look into that, but I think from what I be seeing, yeah, he be going, but I think he goes to other places, but he tries to do black businesses. I think that's like an emphasis for him, though.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I worked in a restaurant for over 10 years. So I have firsthand experience for how difficult it can be to be successful in that environment, and how it really does depend on you cultivating a dedicated customer base that can sustain you during difficult times when you're not able to benefit from an economic surplus. And I would say that this is one of those times where the service industry is unable to benefit from a surplus. And so, in order to thrive, it is important for you to be able to treat your people right so that they continue to come back and you can lock in their continued business over time.
Mhm.
And if what he is doing creates lanes which allow for those restaurants to cultivate that dedicated fan base, then I have no problems with what he is doing. I also don't have any problems with him if he critiques these places for bad service, whether you're black owned or not, because
Mhm.
people need to understand that you can't just run roughshod on customers. You got to do right by people. And there's far too many of these restaurants and these institutions within the service industry that don't care. Because they are just you alluded to it before, they feel as though because of who they are, um and what their like label is, I guess, or their what their what's the word I'm looking for, like the ideology behind who they are substantiates them being able to just treat people however they feel like it. But I
Mhm.
actually have a theory on why this has become the case when it comes to service in general.
Mhm.
Of course, it's purely anecdotal, so I don't have any data to back this up. It's just based on my observation, especially given the fact that I did work in a restaurant for so long. But one thing that the pandemic showed people that there are different ways to make money. What that was one of the different that was one of the things that kind of came as a result of the CV, is it showed people, if I want a second job or if I want to make extra money on the side, I don't have to go and work in the service industry anymore. I don't have to go work a register. I don't have to go work in a department store. I don't have to serve tables. I don't have to bus tables. I don't have to go wash dishes. I don't have to go serve drinks. I don't have to do any of that anymore. I can just become a social media influencer, or I can start an Onlyfans, or I can, do Uber Eats, or it created all of these different micro economies.
Mhm.
And what happened as a result of microeconomies is it fundamentally shifted the viability of brick and mortar staples in the service industry to be able to depend on providing reliable service. Because if you think about it, the more people you have out here who say, I don't need to go serve tables in order to make ends meet, that's less people that are going to come into your establishment applying for jobs. That's less help. That's less labor you have at your disposal. That's more of a crunch on you to be able to run your ship successfully because there's less help to go around. So the help that you have to stretch that help thin, because you don't have a whole bunch of people walking through your door filling out applications because people ain't on this hard work no more.
Were they not?
People ain't on. We are in a post hard work society, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna break the news to you straight up. We are literally in a post hard work society. People don't want to work hard. People want to make more money by doing less. I said last week when we talked about that Target run video, that is an example. That perfect to me. That perfectly exemplifies the era that we are living in which people want to be paid to do nothing. People want to be paid as much as possible to do as little as possible. And you are not going to be doing as little as possible serving tables in restaurants. So these places are in need of help. I don't know when's the last time that you drove by a restaurant, but I can't drive by a single restaurant without seeing a now hiring sign, help wanted, everybody hiring. We are in the opposite of a hiring freeze when it comes to restaurants. That's for damn sure. So these places are hurting. They need the labor, they don't have it. And so when you are stretching your workforce thin and you don't have the people on hand to help, you don't have a hostess, or the hostess that you do have is working a double shift because ain't nobody coming through that door applying to be a hostess no more. Same thing with the servers, same thing with the people bussing tables, same thing with the people, serving drinks. The service industry has fundamentally changed in the aftermath of this CV situation. So it has shown itself through quality of service, in my opinion. That's kind of my big grandstanding view on this whole thing, and why you have people like Keith Lee who might be out here giving these negative reviews of these restaurants, even if they're black owned. Hey man, it is what it is. The service industry needs to figure out creative ways to get people back in the door. The easiest and most obvious answer is you need to pay these people. Stop nickel and diming people. Y'all want people to break their back, in some cases literally, for $12, $13 an hour. In this economy, that is no money. You can't pay people nickels and dimes and expect them to do all of this hard ass work. And the restaurant business is hard work. I know, I did it for 10 years. Slicing my fingers up, cutting myself, burning myself, going through shoes, long nights. I get home at the end of the day, I can't even stand because my back hurts so much. I've been standing all day making this food for these people. So, the service industry needs a facelift. They need to do better. Even if you are a small business and you don't employ very many people, you're a mom and pop, because some of those places that he went to in the ATL kind of look mom and pop-ish. So I get you don't necessarily have the infrastructure and the resources to do what larger businesses and companies and restaurants can do. But there are things that you can do within your purview to provide better service. But it's hard to make that happen when the industry that you are trying to become successful in is in this weird state of limbo where you don't have the resources and the manpower available to provide that quality of service. So in lieu of being unable to do so, you institute goofy rules like we can't sit your party until everybody's here, or just holding up lines and making people wait for no reason, like it's a popular nightclub.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but I get it because ain't nobody trying to work in service anymore. Ain't nobody trying to do this stuff. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I know one thing. Based on this, the next time that I'm in Atlanta, I'm probably not going to be eating out. Just because I don't like being bothered with inconvenience. Like, I don't care how cool and fancy and good your food is. I don't like being inconvenienced. I'm impatient. I don't like waiting in long lines. I will spend money for convenience. So if you want to tell me that a dinner is $100 plate, I will pay that. But I'm not paying $100 plate and you're making me wait. If I'm paying $100 plate, I'm sitting down immediately. So I don't know what they got going on in Atlanta. Down here in South Florida, it has not quite gotten that bad yet, although it is bad in certain places depending on where you go. But it's not as widespread as it seems to be based on what I've seen here with this situation. But I just think, moreover, the service industry is in a weird state of flux, and I don't know what it's going to do to be able to rebound from it. But so far, it has not done a good job of doing so.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that angle. Yeah, but I did kind of think of it in the sense of, these smaller operations, as you mentioned, like, they making these rules and stuff. Like, I get it, close early on Wednesdays, it's like, okay, close, from Sunday to Tuesday, it's like, I don't know what that's about, but that type of stuff. But like you said, if there's no people to work it, if there's no, you know, they're gonna have these arbitrary hours and all this other goofy stuff. So, you know, so there's reasons for that. And I also just think it's a thing of for whatever reason with our people, there's this level of comfort that I can disappoint you. And it's and that's the part I don't like.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I'm already, and that's sad, man. That's whenever I do go to black owned establishments, you know, I have to come in with this understanding to be understanding of their operation. And I'm always extremely grateful when my experience is consistent and the service is good. And I support those. But then there's other ones where it's like, hey, I'm trying to support you right now.
Yeah.
You know, who's this lady? You know, she don't know what she's doing. She don't know the prices or nothing. What are we doing right now? Is she even cooking food? What's happening? So there's some places that I can't go no more because I'm wasting my money with y'all. My last two, 3 times is like, well, I don't know what's going on, but y'all ain't hitting. So I'm not just gonna throw my money away, you know. So, you know, and nowadays, yeah, people money is tighter. So when we do try to show up and represent and, you know, support our people, man, yeah, these long waits and all this other stuff, man, like it's got to tighten up. And because you know, these same people that's creating these rules for black people, if they went to a white establishment and they told you, oh, we can't serve you until all your people here, those people would have been pissed off. They would have been hollering racism and all this other stuff. It's like, no, you know. And so just treat the people how you would want to be treated if you had went to anybody else's establishment. And I think that's the code and standard that Atlanta learned. Because you know, TikTok was on fire. Every other video, man, restaurant owners to regular everyday people, you know, this has been a cry for them out there. And so for him to come out there and lay hands on the city the way that he did, I feel as though it did shine a good light. And it is hopefully it's going to create a culture of better service up there. And but yeah, man, this is very interesting. I didn't know of this man, you know, all these people. I didn't know how big his ramifications can be, but dude seems pretty chill, seems pretty cool. And I won't be watching all the time, but you know, I wouldn't mind popping in every now and then to see what he's talking about in whatever city, because he seems like a chill dude. And a lot of people, you know, is digging what he's doing. And I really love seeing the one where the good people that he gave reviews to, where there was just so many people. Like I like that. I love that actually. So
Yeah.
I want to see more of that. And yeah, I'm happy for the man. But yeah, Atlanta, tighten up.
Yeah, they do need to tighten up. But yeah, bro got 14 million TikTok followers. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had no idea who he was either. But then again, look at who you're talking to. You know, that's not a shock. So I'm probably not going to be watching any of his stuff. I'll just let you update me whenever I need an update on what's going on. But,
yeah, they gonna update me, bro.
So yeah. So I mean, yeah, I like it when he can help those who deserve to be helped because they put in the work.
Right.
But I also like people being held, or businesses, whatever, restaurants, businesses, establishments, being held accountable for not doing work or putting in good work. Because people just can't run. You cannot treat people however you feel like it, all on the basis of, well, because we are who we are. I'll take my money elsewhere.
Exactly.
And y'all will be the same people who want to say I'm doing this or that because I took my money elsewhere. Well, if you provided the type of ambiance and environment that I was looking for, I wouldn't take my business elsewhere. That's on you. That's not on me. Get out of here with that BS.
100%, bro.
Yeah. Shouts out to Keith Lee, bro.
Yeah, shout out.
So Ray J thinks that Kodak needs help. If you look at either of our bubbles here, you might be inclined to agree. So Kodak was recently on an episode of Drink Champs. Ray J chimed in on that appearance by Kodak on Drink Champs, suggesting that this interview is not it. and we need to get this man some help because he does not look as though he is in control of all of his devices. So and then after that, apparently there's now some beef going on between Kodak and Ray J. Ray J saying that he'll whoop Kodak. Once Kodak gets sober up, they can shoot that fade. And Kodak saying Ray J don't want none of this and all of this, BS. So first of all, we'll go ahead and just show you the appearance on Drink Champs so that you can see what has people like Ray J suggesting that Kodak Black needs some help.
Damn.
We heard that what you actually said on the song. A lot of people went back on your side. So how did this thing come about?
It really on some shit like, okay, like when they first hit by it, I was some shit, yeah, like shit, fuck on. Like it wasn't nothing to think about. It wasn't nothing like nobody need to call and ask, should I do this? Like nothing, but yeah. So then, like nothing when it came down to it, I just had to whack like pull down the way with the song. You remember? So when you did that, I recorded it, but like I ain't had to like record and then shit, or like send it to him after the shit. He was like he got really good. He was on, like he got
yes, so we can hear you better, right?
Well, what do you think? Because a lot of people at first,
people. Now this is Drink Champs, but he didn't take a drink yet, so that's just how he is right now.
Yeah, and you can see Ray J's post there. Yo, somebody need to grab bro and make sure he good. This ain't the interview, Nori. We gotta help this dude. I took him to Trump House and he did the most. They were not happy with the experience because he had no guidance and respect. Yo, at WAC 100, let's figure out how we can help this guy instead of watching him self-destruct. And Kodak was not very appreciative of Ray J's comment. So here was Kodak's response to not Ray J, but this was Kodak's response to everyone else who was like, questioning how good is he and, why he was looking the way he was looking, sounding the way he was sounding and all of that. Because it wasn't just Ray J, it was others who chimed in on that as well. So Kodak went live to address him appearing the way he appeared during his appearance on Drink Champs.
to look healthy. Of course, look. They told me. Of course, look. When it come out of me, y'all don't go off no internet theories like when you when they come to like judging me or getting y'all impression before y'all make a like I'm saying y'all idea or whatever, make up y'all mind on how y'all what you calling it. Don't just go off. Even like never heard somebody say like believe nothing you heard and like half of what you see too, cause looks could be deceiving. Especially when the concept be that on top of the Gemini is me just already, and then on top of that,
hey, your birthday,
Slam.
yeah.
Say you are speaking at a regular pace. You haven't had any drugs today, dog. Whatever.
All right, that's enough. That's enough.
Yeah,
so
man.
when he was responding there, he said that the show is Drink Champs and he had a little something, which would explain why he was acting like that. But otherwise, looks can be deceiving. Don't believe everything you see and read. Although I don't know how you can. I don't know what part of that could be misconstrued. It's him and it's there and it's him talking and all of that. So I don't know what people could be confusing, but be that as it may, that was him somewhat, kind of coming to his defense with that. But where are you at with this? You think Ray J has a point that this guy needs some help? Do you think that he was looking, not very good on his appearance on Drink Champs? What do you make of this whole situation?
Yeah, I think he looks horrible. I think he looks horrible because he had a little chunky face and it was whatever. But the loss of weight, which is not a bad thing, it's the loss of weight in the face, the sunken in lookness of his face, the sunken inness of his eyes. He had a song that I like, at least the first verse of it, the Versatile 3-1. I like the first verse of that. I feel like he went hammer. And the rest of the song is just outlandish. So, but there was a part in that song where he said, "Hey man, he tried some meth and he liked it." And I was like, "What? Did you just say that? Did you just say you like meth and you tried meth and you liked it?" So yeah, he put that in the song. It was a very popular video. I didn't like that, to be honest, because there's just some young and impressionables listening to that and thinking that trying meth is okay, and if you like it, it's okay. So some kids thought about that. So I wasn't cool with that. But I just think he's always been off those jiggers, right? Booted off Molly's. So this has always been his reality. I don't even remember the last time I heard him speak coherently. I'm surprised you got that much from his whatever the hell that was. Now I think he was already, sharp bust shawty, when he was a kid. I'm pretty sure he was already on that page. But I don't think he's that illiterate. I think he's just fried his brain. So I don't get Kodak no more. I feel like he's a shell of a human at this point. I don't think he was an industry plant because I was there for his organic rise. But I think what he has become is a industry clown.
Casualty.
Yeah. And so right now he doesn't even know what's up or down. And his handlers are making sure that he stays doped off of whatever he wants. I'm pretty sure he's getting robbed, financially. He's in a bad position, man. I would want him to get sober, but I have never seen him sober. And so I don't even know if that's something that he's going to be wanting to do. So I'm wishing Kodak the best. I was also concerned. I saw just clips of it and I was like, bro, you looking crazy, man. So for other people to say it, and Ray J, I guess, felt like he was in a position because people was like, oh, just hit him up private. He might not be able to hit him up private. Who knows? But he is a celebrity who makes posts. And I think he just was trying to just tell everybody, man, that, let's help Kodak because, he's still a young man and, you hate to see him go this route. But how do you feel about this, man? You feel like he's doped up or he just took some crazy keto diet?
Yeah, I think that he is just in a constant state of being high. Because this isn't like, there's been a bunch of videos that I've seen where it's like people are concerned for Kodak Black's well-being. And you will watch the video and he's like passing out, standing up. There was one video where he was like at somebody's house at like a party. And he was like eating something or something and talking at the same time while going live. And during that, it was like he was passing out. Like you're watching him like pass out live. So this is nothing new. We've seen this before. So it is what it is. All of that good stuff, thoughts and prayers. Hope he gets better if there's anything going on with him, so on and so forth. I'm not going to go too far down that because it goes without saying. The only thing that I will say is I find it very interesting that in his music, he sounds far more coherent than he ever does when he's in a normal situation.
Exactly.
And that's the part that I find interesting is I'm pretty sure that whatever he does privately, he also does when he's making music. I don't think he chooses to be of a sober mind when he's making music, when he's rapping. I would believe that if anything, it would be the opposite, that you kind of get into your state mentally using whatever you need to use to get there in order to, record music to turn into your musical persona. But otherwise, in your private life, things are a bit more low key. If there is like a difference between those two, I would imagine that it would be set up that way, but certainly not the other way around, where you're making music and you're coherent, but then when you're doing things socially or on your own private time or publicly, that's when you're the most faded. So I bring that up to say that I feel like what Kodak does, I feel like the Drink Champs Kodak is the Kodak at all times.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
me
I
too.
think the Drink Champs Kodak is the Kodak at all times.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I think that is the same Kodak that be rapping when he's making his songs. And so if he's that coherent when he's making his songs, but he can't seem to string two sentences together when he does interviews, maybe he has some kind of public speaking impediment that is further exacerbated by the fact that he is always doing what he does. And again, I don't know the guy from a can of paint, so I don't know what he does, but he certainly does not look like he is 100% all the way sober when he does his public appearances. So maybe he has some kind of public speaking problem, some sort of public speaking impediment, or some sort of thing that hinders his ability to express himself in the most coherent fashion whenever he is doing something in those contexts. And then whatever he does like to do in terms of whatever substance or whatever he might be into, it sort of exacerbates that, previously established condition. Because, I kind of think that he's the same way all the time. And when he's making his music, I understand every word that he's
I
saying
know
in his
it's
music.
crazy.
It's weird. Yeah, so I don't get it. But I don't know, maybe there's some kind of special elixir that he can take to kind of dull his senses when it comes to his public show. Like, Ray J talking about he needs help. Hey man, listen, everybody can't go. And this kid, that just might be who he is.
Mhm.
It is what it is. He has gone live. Like I said, he has gone live on his own channels, just like that last one, where
Mhm.
he was more faded than that,
Yeah.
literally passing out while he's talking on the live. So, this guy's just kind of built like this. And I just think that he might have an issue with speaking and articulation when it comes to being in public, which maybe that means he don't need to be talking in public, and people need to get them off his platforms and keep him from talking in public, because it is embarrassing. But to me, I feel like there's more here than just whatever he might be on. It might be a combination of multiple things. And I just think at the end of the day, the boy can't talk.
Yeah, I think well, that's what I said. That's why I felt like he was, in those separate classrooms. That's why I felt like he was already on that. But I think he just fried his brain with dope since he was, 11, 12 years old. And I just think, and then from that, and then hopping on the pills and doing whatever comes down the pipeline, I think that he already had an arrested development, and then that arrested it even further, I felt.
Yeah.
And to speak to and that's why I felt like, his industry, the industry, whatever his thing is, like he knows how to do tunes and say songs or whatever, and he knows how to do that. So yeah, that is his one, if you want to call it, gift.
Yeah.
And that is his one thing. And then like you said, every other time, as soon as that mic cuts off, or even in between breaks, you can't even understand what he's saying. And so he knows how to do that. So yeah, it might be something speech impediment wise, or something that never really got developed, but he knows how to, sing and rap.
Yeah.
But I also think he's fried. And this is the last thing I'll say, because it was probably like a few months ago, I had seen some video of him just, on the ground talking to himself, in a dark room. And I was like, okay, who's recording this?
Right. Yeah.
It's all this stuff that's like, man, he be on them things. So, it's round the clock. As soon as he gets up, he on something. So yeah, I don't know how somebody like this could be, rehabilitated. Hopefully there is a way if he just gets off everything, but unless he's forced, I don't see it happening anytime soon. So wishing him the best, man. But life has hit him hard. I don't even know if he's not even in his 30s yet. And
Oh no, yeah, not at all.
He's
Yeah.
already got leather face.
Yeah.
So good luck, Mr. Kodak, bro.
Yeah, he's a jit still. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously the greatest potential problem with stuff like this is what his presence publicly can potentially represent. So, that's the only thing to me. Is just otherwise to me he's just another rapper doing rapper stuff. Honestly, that's just kind of how I look at him. And I know that sounds cynical, but it is what it is, man. I am past the point where I have expectations for these people above what I have the expectations for them for. The only thing that's potentially problematic is how his public representation can be emblematic of a reinforcement of certain tropes and stereotypes. That's pretty much the only thing that crosses my mind with stuff like that. But even having said that, it's in one ear and out the other. It crosses my mind, but then it goes away because he literally is a walking caricature. He is a living, breathing minstrel show.
Yep.
He really is. And so it is what it is. It's no wonder he did a song with 6ix9ine. They're both puppets. They're both walking caricatures. They're both cartoon characters. They're minstrel shows.
Yep.
Yeah. So if he does need help, hopefully he gets it. Otherwise, though, keep it moving, man. I'm pretty sure I know what he's spending all of his rap money on. That's for sure.
Boy. Get help, Kodak. Get help.
Oh gosh. Last up, we got Prime talking about the situation that happened recently with his team. For anyone who does not know, Colorado played over the weekend. They played UCLA, right? That's who they played.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they lost. So, Colorado has come back down to earth. There was a lot of fanfare at the beginning of the year. They beat TCU and people went nuts, but they proceeded to lose to every team that was originally projected to be better than them. So they lost to USC. They got absolutely mollywopped by Oregon, and they lost to UCLA over the weekend, who's number 23 ranked in the nation, I think, at the time that they lost to them. But the bigger headline was that during the game, somehow, some way, people got into the locker room and stole valuable possessions of the players. And so various media outlets were talking about this situation. And during a press event or a presser where Deion was asked to address the situation, he did address it. And so we will play this short clip in which he addresses the situation, basically saying that the players will be reimbursed, but that there is no place for stuff like this.
Robbed during the game last week. I think that's a travesty, and I would expect the NCAA to do something about that. These are college kids. I'm pretty sure they don't think about insurance at this point in this juncture in their life. We've talked about NILs and how to really maintain their finances. We've pretty much given them financial planners and giving them the resources for that. But the insurance part of it, we slipped, and we didn't really educate them on that. So I wish, I know the kids would be forthright in what was stolen, and some of our just staff members as well. And now all that stuff should be replaced. This is the Rose Bowl. They said the granddaddy of them all, right? I'm sure granddaddy has some money. He has some money to get his kids. I'm going to have a list made out from these young men, and I know they're going to be truthful about what they lost, so we can try to get that back for them. They may not be able to get the items back, but we should be able to reimburse them. That was unbelievable. but I did hear that the home team was robbed as well. So I don't know, but I did hear that. But that don't make no sense when you're out there balling and playing your heart out, then you're getting robbed the same. But
All right, so yeah, he said at the end it wasn't just them. UCLA also got their locker room robbed too. So, pretty sad situation that people decided that they were just going to be slime enough to rob college athletes during a football game. Um, I would love to know how these individuals gained access to these areas, which I
Exactly,
always
man.
thought was, you know, secure to a certain extent. You can't just walk into into these rooms like that unless you're like authorized personnel. So that needs to be addressed, regardless of whether they get their possessions back. We need that answered.
Exactly.
I want to know how the hell they gain access into this place.
Right.
That to me is very odd.
Mhm.
But be that as it may, you know, one can argue that, and you alluded to this before we started recording, but one can argue that Colorado put themselves in this position to be targets in this regard because the media fanfare behind them, which they fed into willfully, was so loud. It was so loud that people are going to want you to get your comeuppance. And a lot of these people out here don't think that losing football games is enough of a comeuppance. They want you to lose things that mean more to you than an L in the win-loss column.
Mhm.
So, you know, certain people want to take it far enough to suggest that this is a referendum on humility when it comes to sports. And I guess we can have that conversation if you want. That's fine. Like I said, the conversation around them was quite loud, and they have come back down to earth. But at the end of the day, this world is just full of slime balls and scumbags and scammers and people who just don't give a damn. And for you to be soulless enough to look at college kids as your next come up opportunity by robbing a locker room is unfortunate, but also not surprising because I have very little faith in humanity. And because I have such little faith in humanity, I am not shocked to see that there are people who would stoop to doing something like this. If you want to rob athletes, then go rob professionals and people who make millions of dollars, people who can afford to sustain these types of losses because they can just replace whatever you took from them. Clearly, you have the wherewithal to gain access into secured locations because trust and believe, if these individuals, whoever they are, had the means to get into these locker rooms, then they can find a way to get into an NFL locker room too. This big time Division One college athletics and its prime. It's Deion Sanders, Colorado, big time media fanfare. If you can get into that locker room, you can get into an NFL locker room too. So go rob pros and stop being a slime bucket. But they won't because these people are slime buckets. The world is full of slime buckets because that's what we have come to, is a society full of slime buckets. So not surprised, although still disappointed.
Yeah. I don't. My lead question as well was so where's the cameras? Don't tell me they ain't no cameras around there. Now this is the Rose Bowl, so they probably don't have no cameras around there. But y'all better have some cameras around. So I know they got cameras, you
For
know,
real.
because I know for damn sure before this happened, all right, I couldn't just roll my ass up in there,
Mm-mm.
you know. And when you go to these games, bro, there's cops everywhere.
Yep.
So for this to get pulled off, my first inclination was somehow inside work.
Yep.
And this is his second time. I mean, he got robbed when he was at Jackson State. So I don't know what this is about. He's a loud personality, as you mentioned, man. And yeah, as you mentioned, the comeuppance, bro. There's people out here that want to see him in a bad position.
Suffer. I want to see
Yeah.
him suffer.
Yeah, people want him to be humbled. The ones that don't like, you know, his flair, and they want to see that flair get humbled some way. I knew I because I never liked that man. You know, they looking for that moment from him. And but hey man, when you talk big, you're gonna have big time haters. I seen a video of some guy was like, I don't hear all the Colorado people now. You know, I told y'all Deion's trash. And it's like, bro, what are we? This is season 1. What's going on?
Yeah.
But people want to see it. You know, people that don't understand it. And yeah, there's bandwagoners that come with this. Yeah, there's people on the Deion hype train that don't give a damn, that don't know anything about football, you know. So yeah, there's those people, man. But at the same time, it doesn't, I mean, the vitriol that people have for him is next level. And I would say that in order for something like this to be executed, I really feel, as I mentioned, it had to be somebody of some type of credentials in order to help this happen, because this is a heist. When you have that many armed securities, you know what I'm saying, covering a vicinity, and you walked out with the goods, that was a heist. That was not a robbery. So you know, at first when he was talking about the NCAA need to compensate, you know, I was like, hey, come on, man, you know. But you know, what are they supposed to do? Just take a loss on this?
Right. Yeah.
Investigate this, because no, this is not happening. And yeah, those kids is iced out, but that's still just NIL money, and a lot of that stuff plated and whatever, you know. So, but the NFL players, as you mentioned, the NFL, they got real jewelry. You know, the NBA players got real jewelry. And you know, I don't think that, you know, security is any different. I always see police littered everywhere around the stadium, you know, at the actual event, at the little place where the buses come in, they're everywhere. So to walk out with that much merch, I don't know how that's executed. So yeah, I don't like it. I just feel like the hate, I feel like this has something to do with Deion hate. I don't think this was you know what I'm saying, you know, Crips and GDs that can orchestrate this, man. They shoot first and then take. They don't come in as invisible and walk in without a trace. That's not how they do their crime. So this would be interesting to see how this develops. But yeah, man, you know, the Colorado thing is whatever. I just, you know, they're 4-4, man. This is better than I thought they would be at this point still. So you know, I'm still on board with Prime. I do feel like, you know, he can carry himself the way he carries himself, but I think the team, you know, just trying to embody that energy, just don't know how to wield it yet. And so I think the team is getting humbled more than him, to be honest. So I think Prime knows what comes with talking like that and being like that. He's been that way his whole life. So I think the people that's getting their bigger pills to swallow is these kids that, you know, believed in everything. So I still think they got a good trajectory. And we'll see what happens down the line, man. But yeah, I call collusion on this, man.
Yeah, I think it's awfully peculiar how you gain access into the locker room. I do think that that's weird. But yeah, I don't think this is about Deion. I think this is about the players and the media fanfare. I think that has a lot to do with people's perception that they deserve some sort of comeuppance.
Yeah.
More than anything else. But yeah, it's year one. So I am inclined to agree with Deion in that if you do want to see them low, enjoy it now, because he's
Right.
only in year one. He hasn't even started recruiting yet. He hasn't even gotten his dog. He hasn't even gotten his own people in there yet in terms of the players. So there's more to come from this situation. But certainly there is something that needs to be addressed in terms of how they got access back there. I think that's the biggest question mark to come from all of this. But yeah, it's one thing for you to want a team to lose. It's another thing for there to be robberies and, to use your word, heists that accompany those desires to watch somebody or a team lose. That's a whole nother level of payback. So yeah, crazy stuff, man. But them boys gonna get their opportunities again, man, because I do believe that Deion is gonna get his fair share of 4- and 5-star recruits. and the team is going to start to look a lot better, a lot faster. And at that point, all of those people who don't like him or those players are going to be dealing with a lot of uncomfortable college football viewing for the foreseeable future. I'll put it that way.
I agree.
But yeah, shouts out to Coach Prime, man. Shouts out to Dion and those boys out there in Colorado. Highs and lows. It's a long season. It is what it is. But not cool with them having their personal possessions stolen. That's scumbag stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like people who just rob. I don't like that. I have more respect for dope dealers than people who steal, because I honestly do, because it's like these people work to earn this stuff, and you're just gonna take it from them because you feel like it. That's some scumbag shit. Like I got more respect for drug dealers than people who steal. I really do. I don't like people who steal. Like, that's ridiculous.
Because they'll steal for any reason. It's like people that just lie all the time. They just steal.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, what's your problem? At least drug dealers, if they're not stealing from you.
Well, I mean, the way I look at drug dealing is like, you aren't being forced to do the drugs. You're doing those drugs of your own volition. That's your decision to not do those drugs, to not get addicted, to not get high, to not do any of that. But you're seeking those dope dealers out. That's on you. But you take it from people. You just taking people. You're taking from somebody who worked to earn that possession, and you're just taking it.
Yeah.
Like, that to me is the highest level of scumbag. That's how I see that. Scumbag shit. But on that note, we'll go ahead and close out tonight's stream. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. This was great stuff once again. Conscious Approach on the YouTube channel. If you like the commentary in this or any other video, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think about our commentary. Let us know where we went right, wrong, or whatever. We don't run a cult here, so I don't pray tell to be right about all the topics that we talk about. These are just my opinions. You can follow Conscious Approach on Instagram at ConApproach, CONAPPROACH. I am also on the Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS. If you happen to watch this video on Facebook, go ahead and like the Facebook page as well. We certainly appreciate that. And until next time, we certainly appreciate you supporting our brand of logical content.
Yes, sir. And the name is Dogon SS. And you can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS and on YouTube at Dogon_SS. Also on DraftKings. All right. And TikToks at Dogon_SS. And as I say on every pod, guys, all right, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill, keep it player. And don't let anybody get you off your pivot. So until the next time, everybody, we'll catch y'all on the flip side.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go Heat. Go Seminoles. Don't really like the way the Heat roster is looking, but of course I expected that, so I am not upset or surprised. But Florida State, my Noles, we number 4. College football playoff bound. Can't wait, baby. But we will see you on the next video. We certainly appreciate your support. Thank you for watching. We are out. Peace.
Peace. Go Canes. Haha. Yeah, go Canes. Wow. Yeah.